Hello, welcome to episode 195 of the Dedicated to Disneyland Paris podcast. And you've probably been wondering where we've been.
Or you might be wondering why we're back.
Hey, it's not easy running a Disney fan site, social media, bi-weekly podcast.
Well, it's actually harder than you might think because especially when it's been consecutive Catholic and Orthodox Easter breaks, Orthodox here in Greece, and DLP doesn't really release any news during that period. Or there's one of you who has a newborn baby, Vanessa.
That too.
Keeping you up midnights, and another has a family that wants you to stand in line for 3 hours in the hot spring sun for a Taylor Swift concert, which means standing another 3 hours because that's how long the concert is. So you could, in fact, call this the Tortured Podcasters Department.
Nice. You know, Mark, sounds like you're down bad and seeing ever more red, but I'm here for you if you need support. You can speak now. Yeah.
It's nothing. It's just champagne problems. So I'll shake it off. I wasn't born in 1989.
Good to know that you're fearless. But puns aside, we need to get on with the show because, we have a reputation to maintain.
We have one? Really?
Slide the last one.
I thought that was just folklore.
Ooh, okay. Nice. Okay. There's some people who have questions about Disneyland Paris who write to us seeking answers.
Well, it's a good thing. We love our listeners.
I set that one up for you so nicely. Okay, that section is later. Yeah. First, we're going to catch up with what news that there is.
Okay, we will tell you all about it.
And that was a reach.
That is a bit of a reach, I know, but I had to throw it in there. Okay. Got my New York cup. It's supposed to be a DLP cup. I mixed up my cups today. So sorry, people.
Wrong cup.
Yes.
The shame of it.
I have no idea what's been going on because of a self-imposed DLP hiatus. I had been getting notifications all the time via Discord, Discord's Disney community, and I was on holiday. And I thought, no, I've got to focus on my family and being on holiday. And so, we were looking forward to bringing you live commentary from the premiere of Alice and the Queen of Hearts, Back to Wonderland. But that turns out to be on the 18th of May. That's when they have invited Inside Ears people to come and see the performance before its actual public premiere. And we just could not make that. We couldn't make it work at all, unfortunately.
That was just tough. If it had been maybe closer to the official public starting date of the 25th of May, maybe it would have been a different story. One of us could have made it, but...
Exactly. So on behalf of Team D2DLP, we would like to apologize to our listeners and followers for not being able to bring you the content you so desire. And we would also like to apologize to Inside Ears for failing once again to be there in person during an event. Just don't break up with us or we'll have to write a whole album of songs about it. So what else is there now, Beth?
Okay. Well, unlike you, I have been following the latest DLP news for the past month. I wouldn't expect
differently from you, yes.
Exactly. I'm on the case, gathering information. Okay, so here's what's been going on. I don't know how exciting it is, but this is what I've got for you. It was...
You've got to hype the news.
I'm sorry, but...
People are already tuning out. This. Oh no, I'm going to the next podcast. I'm not listening to this one.
If I hype this up, nobody's going to trust me afterwards.
Oh, I see it. We're being honest here.
Exactly. I mean, April 1st comes once a year. The rest of the time, we have to show our integrity. And there's no way I'm going to pretend to be super excited about Earth Day and Earth Month, where Disneyland Paris.
Well, you should be, Beth. It's Earth Day. It's important.
I know. I'm all about the conservation. But
and so is DLP.
Yes, with their delightful conservation and renewables program. Mark, why don't you join in on the fun and read the official tagline in your top corporate voice?
Disneyland Paris continues to maintain. Sorry, I'll do that again. Disneyland Paris continues to take meaningful and measurable action to support a healthier planet for people and wildlife, focusing on emissions, water, waste, materials, and sustainable construction. Several large-scale projects have been brought to life over the past few years to help the resort reach its environmental goals. As Disneyland Paris celebrates the largest solar array in Europe, we celebrate the largest solar array in Europe. The resort announced that a thermo-refrigerating pump will be installed in the coming months, allowing the resort to significantly reduce its carbon footprint. Back to you, Beth.
Expertly communicated, Mark.
Thank you. I couldn't have written it myself.
You mean you couldn't have written it better yourself?
No, I just mean I couldn't have written it.
All right. The solar plant now produces 36 gigawatts per year, equivalent to the energy consumption of a town of 17,400 people,
Yep.
in addition to reducing the Val d'Europe territory's greenhouse gas emissions by approximately 890 tons of CO2 per year. The plant is made up of more than 80,000 panels that cover 11,200 parking spots across 20 hectares, providing shade and shelter from direct sunlight, rain, or snow for any types of vehicles.
That is really interesting, but I've got to bring you some breaking news here. This just came through on the Inside Ears channel, and this is really just came in right now. Meet up with 4 Disney talents: Bill Farmer, Caitlin Robrock, Marcy Carricker Smothers, and Tim O'Day. This is an event that's going to be coming up on the 26th of May. And Bill Farmer is Disney legend and voice of Goofy. Caitlin Robrock is the voice of Minnie Mouse. Marcy Carricker Smothers is Disney author and Walt Disney historian. And Tim O'Day is the author of the official Disney Parks books. So this looks like another event that we might actually be able to attend this time. I'm going to inform you about this later, but yes, this just came in.
Okay, actual news.
Actual news.
I don't know, reading about the solar panels was kind of killing my soul.
Well, that's why I said you have to hype it up, because something's going to come in.
Yeah, I guess I just need to have faith and be patient.
Interesting. So I'm going to read through that afterwards, and you may continue. But I just wanted to ask something about those solar panels, because it's very interesting to me. You say that it can power a village of 17,400 people. Can it actually charge electric cars, RVs, and tourist buses?
I imagine you're not the only person with that question, and it would make sense if they would actually tell us that in this press release, but no, that would make too much sense. So no, they do not mention that. No.
Tell you where they could have used solar panel canopy to protect from the rain and sun. That would be at the Paris Défense Arena. Because how is that you can build a whole new event venue and not provide any kind of sheltering for your people queuing up outside? I still don't get that. Anyway, I digress. To further enhance energy efficiency, Disneyland Paris announced that the resort will soon be equipped with a thermo-refrigerating pump, which has the power to provide simultaneous heating and cooling. Now, this is quite important because indeed, we don't know what is going to happen with the climate. Sometimes it's unbelievably hot. Sometimes it's very cold. And current methods of like air conditioning and so on just use way too much energy and so on. So Disneyland Paris says once the pump is fully installed, it will contribute to reducing the resort's natural gas consumption by 14% and its heating needs, which are currently provided through the combined use of geothermal energy and natural gas, reduced by 10%.
All right.
You're absolutely in awe about that, aren't you?
This is just sounding like an
dumbfounded by this
episode.
information.
Is this the construction and engineering podcast? I don't know.
It's news. It's what they sent us.
It's so what they give us as news
to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's forge on ahead.
Let's do it.
Oh, here's some actual stuff that might interest our park going friends out there. 3 days after the end of Earth Month Disneyland Paris announced that the Pays de Contes Faits, otherwise known as the Storybook Canal Land, will receive a miniaturized scene from the Pixar movie Up, with a floating house, with the little cluster of balloons above it. And the attraction will be sponsored by Vittel, purveyor of the finest of water in plastic bottles. Because, hey, Earth Month is over, baby.
It's all in the timing, of course. The Up scene will join two other previously announced new scenes, namely Frozen and Winnie the Pooh, when it reopens this summer. Still no word about a Star Wars land, a Discovery's Edge, or even a miniature scene, but May the 4th did see some special appearances by The Mandalorian and Grogu, stormtroopers, Darth Vader, and themed sweet treats like a Wookiee cake. There were other things as well, but is there something that you particularly like the look of, Beth?
I'm just a big fan of anytime Mando and Grogu show up, my heart just melts. I've not had a chance to meet them in person, and that is like personal #goals for me.
Yes.
Yeah, close to my heart.
I'm with you there.
Now, there was, in other Star Wars kind of news, there was a Star Tours collectible key released that day, limited edition of 1,987 of them for €29 each. Affordable for once, I mean, by Disney standards. Congratulations if you managed to snap one of those up. You have to use Line Bertie.
Yeah, we all love Line
Always a
Bertie.
challenge.
1987, is that significant? Is that when Star Tours started in America? Why would they do a limited edition of 1987?
1987. I'm assuming
1,987
so.
keys,
yeah, exactly.
Obviously, but they usually...
I was assuming it was a year, but
no, it is. They usually do that. But
exactly.
Anyway, if anybody's listening and say yes, Star Tours first arrived at Walt Disney World in 1987, we could look it up for you on the Goog, but we can't be bothered.
We have Pandora, so much more to get through.
Yes, Pandora is now at World of Disney with its own corner, since they had to move out of Studio One at Walt Disney Studios, because that is being renewed. It's going to become a whole new thing. It's not the land of Pandora at Disney Adventure World, but it's something. Are you a Pandora fan, Beth?
Pandora-ish. You know what? I like the bracelets really well, and I thought the movies were perfectly fine. So I'm
listeners, absolutely no relation between the two of those. All right. Okay, I have a dog emergency right now. If you can hear, my dog has just seen a pigeon on our balcony, so I'm going to leave you for 2 seconds so that she can chase the pigeon away. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I'm here with you, so don't panic, everybody. I'll head on with the news here. Forge ahead. Long-standing Disney Imagineer Sylvia Massara, who's been with Walt Disney Engineering for 35 years, since the Euro Disney inception, and was more recently responsible for the transformation of the Art of Marvel and Disneyland hotels, has received her own window on Main Street, USA, above the Ribbons and Bows hat shop. It reads, New Century Interiors, Sylvie Massara, proprietor. All-time designs for all times.
Yes, and I think that is very well deserved, because she has been with DLP for a long time, since the beginning. And it's always nice when they honor an Imagineer with a window on Main Street. And finally, Disney Dreams will retire as the DLP nighttime show on May 30th. That will be the last time you can see Disney Dreams. As Disney Illuminations returns on May 31st. I don't know how you feel about that, but there are pro-Disney Dreams and there are pro-Illumination people. So take your choice. Illuminations is coming back. That's how we understand it, at least, because at some point we were like, oh yeah, we heard that Illuminations might be coming back, but they're trying out 2 nighttime shows. So maybe one is going to be Dreams and the other is Illuminations. We don't know if that's going to be the case, but I think it's just going to be Illuminations. Whether they're going to do it twice per night, we'll see. We'll see, because it was a test. According to Inside Ears, few differences. The scenes that have been adjusted are the Beauty and the Beast live action. That sequence has been removed. So I'm sorry if you were looking forward to that. And the Frozen sequence has been shortened. Otherwise, the show will be the same as before, which means, Beth, Illuminations is shorter. Or have they made some parts longer?
I think if they were punching it up and adding something, they wouldn't have hesitated to give out that news. I mean, they could be trying to surprise us. I think they made it shorter because now they have their drones to sort of make things longer. You see what I mean?
Well, or we know that
Disney delights, yeah.
Well, it's not. It's the Disney Electrical Sky Parade is still continuing before that. So I don't know. We will just have to wait and see until May 31st, and somebody tells us about it.
Yeah,
but
I don't mind that they switch back and forth between the two. I don't know if it sounds sacrilegious to some, but I kind of made my peace with Illuminations, and I like to see them switching back and forth. Why not?
You made a truce with Illuminations.
I think I did. It's like
sat down together and worked it out.
Yeah.
It sounds.
So why not 6 months of one, 6 months of the other?
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like a Taylor Swift song.
Okay, well, let's move on from Taylor Swift now, okay? Now, Mark.
Yes.
Don't you want to talk about the free Cowgirl Musical Dreams event at Billy Bob's in Disney Village on the 24th and 25th of May from 6:30 p.m. with line dance lessons and country pop rock concerts?
Well, this ain't Texas.
Well, then I will hold them.
Besides the new Alice show premiere, what else are we looking forward to in the next 2 weeks, Beth?
I'm looking forward to surviving. Oh, okay.
I almost did a spit take there. That sigh was like...
I'm in the middle of like probably the biggest moment of my year.
Oh, yes.
Longtime listeners know that I have a small Renaissance singing group.
Mm-hmm.
There's 7 of us.
Yep.
And we have our lute and our harpsichord and everything. And we have our biggest medieval fair coming up where we perform a series of 16 concerts it's
Again,
just a lot.
You're not hyping it. You're not hyping it enough.
No, it's wonderful, but please come if you're in the region near Geneva, Switzerland.
Yes, and you're into medieval festivals.
It's the biggest medieval fair in Europe. It's Les Grandes Médiévales de Andilly, and 66,000 people. It's a good time.
Well, there you go. That's a whole Taylor Swift arena full.
Exactly. So
and it's
now
free,
it's going to be.
Assume. No. Yes.
Oh yeah. No, it's not free. It doesn't cost as much as Disney, but yeah.
Or Taylor Swift. No, I have said this before. I think Disneyland Paris should hire you to, bring you in on some kind of medieval event around the castle. I mean, that would fit amazingly well. Put you on the castle stage. And you've got the costumes already, so there's no expense in that. They just need to, pay your tickets up from down there in the Haute Savoie. If anybody at Disney is listening to this, get in touch with us. We'll send you a free CD. Well, Beth will, because I want to keep mine.
A free CD.
Yeah.
That would be a dream come true. I mean. Already,
you know what? We should put a link to your YouTube videos in the show notes. Anybody interested, you can check out the show notes and we'll direct you straight to it. There you go. If we can't use this platform to plug your own medieval choir, what is this for?
Why would I even? Because I don't know. I don't have the strength in me to start a separate podcast for the Renaissance Singing Group.
We're not starting a separate podcast. We're using this one.
We're going to use this one as the platform. Okay,
exactly.
Just one thing that is sort of Disney adjacent is when I'm in my costume and it's like it's pretty impressive. It's a crown and I have all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I love, especially the little girls, and they come and they treat me like a Disney princess.
There you
They'll
go.
run up to me and give me hugs, and I love it so much. And just in another life, I was a Disney face character because I love being in character and interacting with all the excited little children and asking the little boys what dragons they managed to kill so far. And, just having a good
I'm
time.
not sure that's in the Disney playbook of language that you could use with Disney kids.
No, but
yes.
I could learn. No, it's just, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Which character would you be? Like, let's say if they put you on the castle stage, which character could you be?
Like in the Disney lineup?
No, as your medieval queen.
Oh.
Is there some kind one character for one of the movies that you could be actually singing together with your group?
Gosh, that is.
I'm amazed you've never thought of this.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, we'd fit like into the castle in The Sword in the Stone.
Yes.
There's a feasting scene in that movie. Or like if probably, I mean, it's Sleeping Beauty's castle.
Yes.
And
That's
so
what I was
we could be
thinking.
backup singers for Sleeping Beauty. Definitely.
Have you ever sung Disney related music?
Not so much. Not since high school. Not on stage.
Because there's copyright
No.
issues. But yeah.
Okay.
We should look into that.
Okay, Disney, call me.
Yes.
All right. I think that I've hijacked the show long enough, and now we need another edition of Love Our Listeners.
Easy listening for the easy listeners.
Okay, folks, today we only have one listener email to share, but it is a gorgeous one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you recall, back in episode 190, the lovely Nadine wrote in all the way from Australia. That reminds me, Mark, did you ever watch the 1990 Disney animated film, The Rescuers Down Under?
I would like to say I have, but unfortunately, no.
It is an underrated gem. I highly recommend. I know like Disney had a bit of a dark period there, but Rescuers Down Under, don't sleep on it, fam.
Can you give a small summary of what it's about?
Okay, so you have Bernard and Bianca, and they go to Australia, and they meet a kangaroo and some kind of crazy, terrifying lizard.
If I were a Disney executive, you wouldn't have sold it to me.
Okay.
You've got to work on your pitching skills.
That's not what I don't know. I can sing you a Renaissance song if you want. Okay, back to my good friend Nadine here.
Yeah.
Okay. Nadine asked for our best tips for a huge family trip to DLP that she was going to be having in early April. Okay.
Yeah.
So you and I, Mark, gave her our best ideas, and it was quite a challenge because this is a group of 5 adults and 5 kids aged 3 to 13, which is quite a range. And just to give you the rest of the details, it was Newport Bay for 4 nights. And because of travel constraints, they would have 3 full days in the park.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the details. We asked Nadine to please write into us with a trip report after it was all done. And she obliged, sending us just the kind of detailed, wonderful, fun-filled trip report that all of us DLP nerds love to hear.
Excellent.
So,
looking forward to it.
Let's go into it. We can sort of trade off reading, Mark, because this is a long one. It's a good one.
Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I feel like I'll start. I'm going to give it a go.
Do you want to do one word each?
Yeah, maybe
No,
I'll
that's
read about until we did kind of discuss something, because I don't think we should go all the way to the end
all
before we
right.
discuss, because we'll forget all the details. So, hi to to DLP. Me again. I just wanted to send in my trip report. Thank you again for all your advice, though I did listen to the April 1st episode the day before we left, and I was pretty disappointed some of those things weren't true.
Sorry,
Beth,
Nadine.
yeah, I know. She was like, thought some magical surprises were in store, but she had other magic. Beth, I'd definitely be keen to buy your book on Fort Comstock. Anyway, we went to DLP just after Easter. The motto I demanded our family adopt was, "We are going to Disneyland and it will be magical." So even when it rained, we just enjoyed the fact that we were there. It was quite busy, but I never felt like we were trying to push through crowds of people, so it never felt too busy. The wait lines weren't too bad, though I struggled to get my husband and two kids out of the hotel for early magic time. We still rode the Buzz Lightyear ride without much of a wait first thing in the morning on two of the mornings. On Thursday morning, we got to Walt Disney Studios early so I could do Crush's Coaster as a single rider. And even then, it was about a 40-minute wait. Par for the course for Crush. It was definitely worth it. So good. I wouldn't recommend doing that and then Cars
Yes.
Teacups ride straight after, though. Oh, yeah, the Quatre Rally. I was definitely needing a sit down after that and some food to settle my stomach.
It's
okay.
people don't realize, but it really turns you around quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think back to back was definitely quite an adventure. Traveling with 10 of us was really nice, though I wish we'd organized the days a bit better. There seemed to be a lot of us getting out of rides and then trying to organize kids, and then come together to discuss the next steps. My mother-in-law also really struggled with the amount of walking, which slowed us down till we talked her into having a wheelchair and finding her places to have cups of tea so we could get around the park. She was hoping to hire a motorized chair or similar, but unfortunately DLP don't have those. So she was reluctant to hire a wheelchair that we would have to push. So this might be something others might want to consider before coming to the parks. Also, the lack of places to sit and have a cup of tea was really apparent in the lands. It may be better to bring a travel cup and buy one on Main Street and find a place to sit out of the rain in the lands instead.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Not enough places to have tea outside, apart from Main Street. Adventureland, there's one or two places. Frontierland, you could. I'm not sure that they serve tea at.
Last chance.
Not really. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
It kind of is. Yeah. I found at Tokyo Disney as well, you couldn't rent any kind of motorized wheelchairs. And when I was with my mom, who was struggling with the walking, she didn't want one either that, that I'd have to push around. She felt like it was a bit of a burden. You can rent them from third-party services, but you'd have to organize that way ahead of time, and it would be a bit of a hassle. It's not something you just throw together. But at least if you're in a wheelchair, you have somewhere to sit to drink your tea, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
There's that. All right. I'll let you take it from here, Mark.
Okay, where were we? We're at the cup
I
of
know
tea.
you all.
Yes, I know you all love this ride, but I have to say my 2-year-old and 5-year-old loved the Cars road trip ride. We rode it 3 times on different days and sitting in different carriages each time, so we saw different things. 3 times, really. I have to say, being at the back was just as great as the front, in my opinion. The rest of our group loved it too, though they only rode it once. And I agree that it's probably not worth a 40-minute wait, which I've heard it can be. But for 5 to 10 minutes, highly recommend as a cruisy ride after a big lunch. I will also add that a 40-minute wait is a really long time with a 2-year-old that wants to run away constantly. So we did avoid long wait times, particularly after our experience with Peter Pan's flight. I completely agree with you. Everyone in our group wanted to go on that ride together, So we decided we could cope waiting together for the 50-minute wait time. Unfortunately, that's turned into about 90 minutes. Oh, my dear. With my 2-year-old turning into a monster and then eventually falling asleep in my arms. And then the ride was just so short, it was over in a flash. This is Peter Pan
Yeah.
all over. If I had my time again, I'd probably skip this ride or pay Premier Access to skip the queue. We did pay Premier Access for the Spider-Man ride on our last morning, and this was worth it for us. The others in our group were already in the line, and we didn't want to hold them up waiting after the ride, so we paid for the 4 of us to go through, and that made it so much easier and more fun. We had done the ride the night before as well, so we knew how good it was, but also how hard it is to hold a squirmy little kid for so long. Gotta have the muscle for that, yes. As for the food, I cannot recommend Captain Jack's enough. It was such an amazing experience, though we did go without the kids because of the price and the type of food served. What did you do with the kids then? All right, kids, we're going to go and eat in there. You just have fun. The island-style fish soup was so warm and comforting after the cool day outside. The Caribbean chicken was so yummy, and so was the grilled pineapple. I would also recommend the rum cocktails. Mm-hmm.
That explains a lot. Okay.
Yeah, my sister and about the kids. My sister-in-law and her partner took the kids to Rainforest Cafe. There
we go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You should have started with that, Nadine, which they all loved as well. Pim Kitchen was also a favorite, though I'd recommend to do it when you haven't been on lots of tummy-turning rides. So you can really eat and try everything and enjoy it. If anyone is thinking about booking it, I'd say just do it. We had lunch at Stark Factory twice during our time, and the focaccia pizzas were very good, and the pastas were a large portion that we could share between us. So it was good value. On our last night, we went to Annette's Diner for dinner, and the staff and food was lovely. Though my husband got unwell after having the chili burger. So we'd probably avoid that burger next time. Might not just be the chili burger, but the diner itself was so cool, we'd definitely go back. We also went to the Skyline Bar to try some cocktails, and my nephews loved looking at the Marvel Hotel. Please thank Vanessa for her recommendation, Beth.
Yeah, I think the Skyline Bar should give Vanessa like a lifetime discount pass or something. She has sent a lot of business their way.
Yes, or one of those punch cards.
Yeah.
Cocktail punch cards.
And finally, the Newport Bay Hotel.
Yes.
I thought 4 nights would be enough, but for such a big group like ours, moving around the parks took a lot of time. So I think even going for a week wouldn't be long enough for us to see everything. I was really hoping to spend some more time at the hotel because it was really beautiful. I would have loved to have been able to swim in the pool and spend more time at the bar. So if we get the chance to go again, I'd love to be able to do that. The rooms are great, but I do wish the beds were a bit more family friendly, as the double beds we ended up having to push together and have the kids in the middle and the adults on the outside so they wouldn't fall off the bed. Oh, it'd be great if there was like a double bed with a single and a trundle bed up to pull out. So a 2-year-old could be in his own bed and we wouldn't be worried about him rolling off. He's nearly 3, so just a bit old to be in the cot as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and for that, they have that style of bed still at Hotel Cheyenne.
Yes.
That is exactly that setup. You have a single bed, and then underneath it, you can pull out a little trundle. It's perfect for a smaller child.
Yeah, I've seen those at IKEA, for example. They're very useful for like guest sleepovers and so on.
Yeah. So, maybe for your next stay, especially if you want to stay longer, Nadine could try a different hotel and have more of the bed setup that she might want.
But it's a good point because finding information about the bed setups is not always easy when you're booking a Disneyland Paris hotel.
Yes.
Because they say, okay, this is the kind of room that you could get, like a superior or whatever, and it has 2 double beds or whatever. Sometimes it'll say queen size, king size, but it doesn't always mention, what the extra
Yeah, the
amenities
special
or
features.
yeah. And then you'd have to call the hotline, which from Australia, that's going to add up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hassle.
Wish they had a WhatsApp group, Disneyland Paris WhatsApp help hotel. It's
Yeah.
just a suggestion, just throwing that out there.
But other than that, we all enjoyed being at the hotel. It was also really great being within walking distance to the parks. And one day when it poured down and we were soaked and even had water in our shoes, we could just quickly go back to the hotel, change, and get back to the parks.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, we had a really magical trip. I'm so glad I'd done a bit of research first and listened to your podcast as well. It really helped. And I also felt excited to be seeing things in real life that I'd heard about. I feel the same way. I love researching everything.
Yeah.
I'm not a no spoilers person. I'm glad that Nadine isn't either. I just want to add, there is an Adventure World theme park about 10 minutes from my house. So hearing Walt Disney Studios would soon be Disney Adventure World. I'm also a little disappointed. That won't be stopping me from trying to book a visit soon after it's opened.
Okay, Nadine,
Thanks.
I want you to send us some information about this adventure, your adventure world, so that we can compare it with the future Walt Disney Studios and see how they stack up to
Compare
it.
and contrast.
Yes.
Thanks again, team. Sorry for the long trip report. It's just exciting to be able to tell my story to someone who I know will appreciate it. Nadine.
And we do appreciate it. Thank you so much for sending that in.
Long trip report. That is a feature, not a bug. That's just the kind we like.
But it's going to help our listeners because every time somebody goes to Disneyland Paris and reports back, it's a different situation because you have different groups and kids and ages and experiences. And so that's why these are important, guys. Even if you think, I don't have anything special to add. No, that's not true because everybody's experience is different. And you always get some information out of it. At least we do. So thank you. Thank you so much for that, Nadine.
Yeah, especially a big trip like this, a fairly long amount of time with such a big group of people. This can be really invaluable because I think even I hadn't realized how hard it must be traveling with such a big group. I've never, been with that many people trying to, herd them
big
around
family.
the park.
I thought you had been with several kids before.
Well, I mean, I would go. The biggest group I've been is 6 people, and I still think that's different than 10.
Yes, but it's also depends on ages and how they handle themselves because even if you're just 3, like if you're 2 parents and 1 kid, but that kid is really not cooperating. But it's true because if you're in a large group, you have to kind of be able to divide and conquer. So doing that thing was sending the kids to Rainforest Cafe while you go to Captain Jack's is a great idea. There are other places that they could have stayed in park for Agrabah Cafe, for example. Kids love a buffet like that. I definitely appreciate Captain Jack's. My kids do as well because of the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
But I can imagine that a 2-year-old will want to run off and put his hands in the water and stuff like that.
Or jump in, I mean.
Or even jump in. Yes. And fair to you. Why wouldn't you be able to jump into that water?
I know, right?
Yes. But yeah, that's definitely a very good idea. And then how to deal with those long queues? There are games that you can do, like I Spy with My Little Eye, and maybe you can bring drawing pads. But there's activities that you have to keep them busy with while standing in a long line. But if you're expecting to be there for 50 minutes and it turns out to be 90,
that's tough.
That's
and
tough.
I just think a little one of 2 to 3 years old, I don't even think you can keep them going with games and drawing pads that long. If you can, buy your way out of that problem. Those premier access are precious because, I mean, the little kids do want to, I mean, the Peter Pan ride is like made for them, but that
Again,
wait,
we do not
so
work for
rough.
Disney, so we're not selling this. We're just saying
No.
that's the only option you have nowadays. You used to be able to get free fast passes for doing
Yeah.
exactly that, and Peter Pan was one of the first things that we would get that for, because we know it's always long, and the short is never. The ride is never getting any longer either. So I think that's Premier Access. Yeah, that's what it's
Yeah.
for.
Now, I did love kind of, really, I did, that they enjoyed the Cars road trip rally so much. And I mean, that's why that was put in there.
Yeah.
Something that families can all enjoy together, from the tiniest tot to the grandparents.
Yes.
And it is fulfilling its function. If they enjoyed it, the Imagineers did their job well.
Definitely.
I mean, they could have put something more spectacular in there, but apparently it is serving its purpose.
Well, the
And
fire and the flood are quite spectacular for, especially for young kids when seeing that,
yeah.
because you don't really expect it, because you think it's such a docile little trip around a couple of animated cars, and then that happens. We all know that where it comes from. It used to be part of the Hollywood Tram Tour, but it's great that they kept that in, and that is obviously now the most amazing part of that ride, unless you're really into Earfuel Tower. My question is, what are they going to do with it once the expansion opens? Is it going to stay the same? Are they going to use that bit of land for something else? Because it's kind of like, it's right next to, there's probably going to be a passage there to where the new Tangled spin ride is going to be. I think that's right on the other side of that fence, of the building fence now. And to the Art Deco style restaurant. So it could obviously just stay there. But I'm wondering whether it's just a temporary thing for now. If that's like, has it got a 5-year life? We don't know, you see. It was a Hollywood Tram Tour. They wanted to reinvigorate it with something. We knew that the expansion was going to come up, but that's kind of a bit of real estate that is prime real estate there. But there's another issue, which is the trees. And there's some kind of environmental law that they cannot take down trees that are existing or that have been planted there. But still, there's something else you could do. Maybe there's another IP that will come along and they'll decide to make something else out of that. A similar ride, but anyway, we're just speculating now about the future. We just want something else there, please. But, that's just us.
But I think it's safe for the time being, with all that
something that
activity
says
going on in the studios.
Something that says adventure, something that says world.
Cars Adventure World Tour.
People really love Cars Land.
Woo.
People really love Cars Land. And we're saying that if you're going to expand that area of Walt Disney Studios, Disney Adventure World, maybe you could turn that into a Cars Land. That's what I'm saying. Because there's space there, probably, behind it. If they still haven't announced what the third land is going to be, which is going to be on the left side of Frozen, on that side of the lake. But there's definitely some space after the restaurant, the Art Deco style restaurant, before you get to Frozen, on the right-hand side of the lake. There's still some space there. That's what I'm saying. But we'll just have to wait and find out.
Yeah, and the money will have to come from somewhere, so they have a good long time to think about it before they splash out to be
$60 billion, baby, over 10 years.
Oh boy, quite a budget. Okay, well, I hope that Disney executives are listening to this and taking your words of wisdom into account there. Mark, obviously you have thought about this.
They're all coming here for that YouTube link of your medieval choir group. That's what they're here for.
Wonderful. Well, hopefully I'll be seeing Natasha Rafalski this weekend at the Grande Médiévale d'Andilly. I mean, who knows?
Josh Damaro could be passing by. Maybe he wants to bring you over to Tokyo. Tokyo would love you. Absolutely. I think you should send your CD to Tokyo Disney Resort. There you go.
Okay, well, I better get on this. I have a CV to send out. Okay, so Mark, I guess you better see us out.
Okay, let me find the outro music somewhere over here. Listeners, we've been away for a while, so we have to get back into it. Here it is. Thank you for listening to the D2DLP podcast. You may subscribe to the show on all podcatchers, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Swiftcaster. If you have a moment, please rate and review the show as it helps new listeners find and enjoy us. You can also follow our posts and get involved on our Instagram and Facebook feeds. You can now also view our podcasts on YouTube. Send any private requests, questions, or trip reviews to dlp@dedicatedtodlp.com and check out our website www.dedicatedtodlp.com. Finally, I would just like to wish everybody a very happy spring. Spring is here, and soon we'll be getting some information about Alice and the Queen of Hearts.